We come here tonight to tell you that the great playwright William Shakespeare is almost done with his newest play titled Hamlet, or The Little Prince That Could. However, after his last failure, that rock musical Julius Caesar Superstar, he's a little bit nervous about how audiences will react to the ending. So, tonight, you all will serve as a test audience and decide the ending along the way. At specific plot points, we will present to you two options. And by your cheering and round of applause, we will select the more popular choice. But be very, very careful, as it could mean life or death for several of these characters. So, on to the play. We find Horatio, our hero's best friend, on the night watch, when suddenly the ghost of the recently deceased king appears and quickly disappears. Horatio recognizes the ghost as Hamlet's father and runs off to tell Hamlet. Meanwhile, Hamlet, who is very upset about his father's death, is more upset about his mom marrying his suspiciously friendly uncle. Horatio arrives to tell Hamlet about the ghost. And since Hamlet had nothing better to do that night, he decided to see for himself. As this is taking place, Ophelia, Hamlet's girlfriend, is saying goodbye to her brother Laertes, who's going back to college after winter break. After he leaves, their father Polonius scolds Ophelia, telling her that she should stop speaking to Hamlet altogether. And Ophelia, being a typical teenage girl, obeys her father's command to stop liking her boyfriend. That night, the ghost reappears to Hamlet and tells Hamlet about how he died, informing him that he was murdered by Hamlet's new stepdaddy, his uncle Claudius. And because of this, Hamlet must kill Claudius. Since Hamlet had nothing better to do that night, he decided to go along with it. Now, while Hamlet was hanging out in the woods with his best friend and his ghost dad, Claudius and Gertrude, Hamlet's mom, decide to bring in two of Hamlet's friends from college to cheer him up. However, Hamlet didn't get out that much and didn't have a lot of friends, so they settled for his roommates, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Claudius requests that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern keep an eye on Hamlet and report back to him if he seems suspicious, which Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, having no loyalty to Hamlet since he always left his dirty tights hanging up in the shower, agreed to do. Polonius arrives and suggests using his daughter to get a better idea of what Hamlet is thinking, and he and Claudius develop an evil plan. When Hamlet sees Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, he is instantly suspicious. You see, even though Hamlet is incredibly moody, he is not stupid. And when Rosencrantz and Guildenstern suggest hiring some actors to make everyone happier, Hamlet decides that he can use the actors to see if Claudius in fact did kill his father. Before the show, Claudius and Polonius send Ophelia to Hamlet and spy on the encounter. Again, since Hamlet is only incredibly moody and not stupid, he attacks Ophelia and runs away. Claudius and Polonius decide that Hamlet is insane and they should send him away to England to die. Now, it's time for decision number one. Option one. Should Ophelia stick around and continue with her father's plan? Or option two, should Ophelia give up on being treated badly by her father, her father's friend, her boyfriend, and basically every man in her life, and find a guy who will actually respect her? Option two it is. Now it's time for the play. While everyone is watching the show, Claudius seems incredibly bored. Probably because he'd prefer a good musical, like Julius Caesar Superstar, playing at the Globe Theater or some kind of thing. Anyway, during a portion of the play that reenacts how Claudius killed the former king, he gets upset and storms off. Hamlet and Horatio celebrate, now having the evidence they need to kill Claudius justifiably. But Gertrude does not enjoy having an angry husband to deal with, and she demands that Hamlet receive his scoldings in her room. When Hamlet arrives, he isn't aware at first that Polonius is spying, but once he discovers the truth, being incredibly moody but not stupid, he stabs Polonius.
I am slain!
Yeah, that's an actual line. And Hamlet then yells at his mother for marrying his uncle, and just before he attacks her, the ghost appears. And warns Hamlet not to harm his mommy. Well, his widow, his son. No, don't worry. Gertrude can't see the ghost, though, and suspects that Hamlet is nuts. Hamlet confesses to his mother that he's just pretending to be crazy, but he will be banished back to England, where he goes to college and leaves his tights in the shower. It's now time for decision number 2. Keep in mind, these are life and death choices. Option 1. Should Gertrude believe her son and become suspicious of her husband? Or option 2, should Gertrude think Hamlet is actually crazy? Option 1.
Yeah!
Option 2. Let's go with, option 1. Gertrude tells Claudius that Hamlet is crazy. Claudius summons Rosencrantz and Guildenstern and tells them that they will go with Hamlet to England, and once there, they will deliver letters to the King of England, instructing him to kill Hamlet. But it's decision 3 time already. Option 1. Should Rosencrantz and Guildenstern decide to follow Claudius's orders and deliver the letter? Or should Rosencrantz and Guildenstern feel bad for Hamlet and decide not to deliver the letter? Option 1. Option 2. Hamlet, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern head for England, and just as they leave, Laertes arrives, having heard about his father's death. Completely fed up with Hamlet's behavior, Claudius tells Laertes that Hamlet is the cause of his father's death. Thus, with newfound hatred, Laertes seeks revenge. You know, kind of like Hamlet was doing. Now, just before Laertes sets out for England, Horatio arrives with a letter from Hamlet, saying there was a leak in his boat and he's returning tomorrow. Thinking fast, Claudius develops a plan. They'll stage a good old-fashioned fencing match between Hamlet and Laertes. But Laertes will carry a poisoned sword, which will kill Hamlet upon contact. Also, in case the sword doesn't work, Claudius will poison Hamlet's juice. Now it's time for the final decision. Option 1. Should Laertes, filled with hatred, decide that Claudius's plan is awesome? Or, option 2, should Laertes, realizing that seeking revenge is probably not the best idea, and also there's a lot of poison flying around and someone's bound to get hurt, abandon the plan altogether? Option 1. Option 2. Now, before we get to the final scene, do you remember your choices? Let's review. You decided that Ophelia will give up on being treated badly and find herself a new man. You decided that Gertrude will believe her son and become suspicious of her husband. You decided that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern feel bad for Hamlet and decide not to deliver the letters. And you decided that Laertes will not seek revenge. Now, here we go. Everyone gathers to watch Hamlet and Laertes fight. Oh, and fight they do. The first round goes to Hamlet.
Hey!
The second round also goes to Hamlet. In desperation, Claudius offers the poison juice to Hamlet, but since he's incredibly moody and not thirsty, he declines. Gertrude decides to drink in Hamlet's honor, and Claudius tries to stop her, but because you said that Gertrude should be suspicious of her husband, she does the opposite of what he asks, and she drinks the poison juice and promptly drops dead. Way to go. The fight becomes more fierce and quickly approaches the end of the third round when, because you decided that Laertes would not follow Claudius's plan, he throws down his stick, wanting no more violence. He tells Hamlet about Claudius's plan and wants to join him to stop this murdering cycle by killing Claudius. And then, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, having not delivered the letters, bust down the door, ready to fight on Hamlet's side. With help from his new friends, Hamlet kills Claudius in one glorious swoop. As he dies, Ophelia enters with her new boyfriend, who just so happens to be the King of Norway. doesn't really seem fit to rule, they'll take over and will happily ever after.